students. Hope you all are fit and fine. In the last video, I have explained you the summary of the chapter number 6, that is expert detectives. And now I will explain you from the textbook. From the textbook, page number 85. As we walked back towards the clinic, Seven said, "He doesn't look anything like Monster Maya. But did you see how thin he is? Maybe he is very poor and can't afford to eat." And what here Nishad Seven says, Seven is Nishad, his boy, both were coming back towards the clinic, and what Nishad said that he doesn't look like anything like a monster. He is not looking like a monster. And what he told to his sister that can't you see how thin he is, and maybe he is poor and he can't afford to eat. He can't be poor if he is a crook on the run. I told him he's probably got millions of rupees stashed away somewhere in that room. Now what Maya said that I can't think that he is a poor, but he is a crook and he probably got millions of rupees and stashed away in the room. Stashed away means he has hidden rupees in the room. See here the conversation is between Nishad and his sister Maya, and they are talking about Mr. Nath, right? Do you really think he is a criminal, Maya? It doesn't look like. Nishad looked doubtful. And what Nishad asked to Maya, that do you think that he is a criminal? He doesn't look like a criminal, right? And Nishad was doubtful, right? Of course he is 1-7, I said, and he certainly isn't starving. Mr. Mehta told us that Ramesh brings his meals up from the restaurant downstairs. And what Maya said, of course he is criminal and he is not starving. So Mr. Mehta is there. He told that Ramesh brings meals from the restaurant. Maya told that definitely I bet that scars he got during the shoot from the police. Shootout with the police or something. Mummy told us quite clearly they were burn scars, Nishad said firmly. And Nishad firmly said that our mother told that they are burn scars. Perhaps the police had to set his out on fire to force him out, I suggested. Seven looked unsure. Now what Maya suggested, that maybe police had to put out fire on his home, on his house, to put him, to force him out. On the Monday following Mama's birthday, Seven went alone with her to the clinic at Girgaon, as I was spending the evening with school friend. And following one day, what happened? Nishad, as their mother birthday was on that day, so Nishad went to the clinic, right? Went to his mother's clinic, and it is in Girgaon. And Maya was spending evening with school friend. When they returned, Nishad told me he had been to see Mr. Nath, and I felt most annoyed that I had not been there. And when Nishad came back from the clinic, what he said that in the clinic he saw Mr. Nath, and at that time Maya felt very annoyed because she can't see Mr. Nath. Seven had been quite upset about Mr. Nath's gaunt appearance and was sure that he was starving. And Nishad was upset because he saw Mr. Nath, and Nath appearance was sickly, right? वो बीमार जैसे लग रहे थे, and he was sure that he was starving. Starving means भूख मरा. He told me that he had knocked loudly on Mr. Nath's door that evening and said, "Open the door quickly, Mr. Nath." And what Nishad said to Maya that evening, he had knocked loudly to the Mr. Nath's door, and what he said, "Open the door quickly, Mr. Nath." The man had opened it and asked him, "Lost another marble?" And Mr. Nath opened the door, and what he asked to Nishad, that "Have you lost another marble?" He had obviously recognized my brother, and Mr. Nath recognized Nishad. No, said Nishad, he had taken the man's hand in his own and thrust a bar of chocolate into it. And when Mr. Nath asked him that, "Have you lost another marble?" So what Nishad said, "No," and he kept a bar of chocolate in his hand. "Did you get a chance to peek into the trunk, Seven?" I asked. So what Maya asked to Nishad, that "Have you got the chance to look into the trunk?" Nishad looked disappointed. "He didn't even ask me in," he said. Then he smiled. "But I did find out something, Maya. I went down to the restaurant where Ramesh works and talked to him." So when Maya asked him that, "Have you got the chance to look into the trunk?" at that time Nishad became disappointed, and what he said, that "He didn't even ask me in," and what he said, that Mr. Nath didn't ask me to come in, right? And then he smiled. And then what Nishad said, that "I have found out something." And what he said to Maya, that "I went down to the restaurant where Ramesh works and talked to him." "Good for you, Mr. Detective," I said, patting him on the back. "I hope you questioned him properly." And what Maya said to Nisha, that "Good, Mr. Detective." She had given name Detective to Nishad, and what she said, "I hope you," and what she asked to Nishad, that "You had questioned Ramesh properly." Seven looked pleased. "Ramesh told me that he takes 2 meals for Mr. Nath every morning and evening, and 2 cups of tea." Right? And what Ramesh told about Mr. Nath, that every day he takes 2 meals, one in the morning and one in the evening, and 2 cups of tea, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Ramesh says he is not very particular about what he eats. It's always the same food: 2 chapatis, some dal and vegetable. Mr. Nath pays cash and tips well. And what Ramesh told, that he is not very particular about what he eats. Daily he eats same food: 2 chapatis, some dal and vegetable. And what Ramesh told, that Mr. Nath pays cash for the meal, and even he gave good tip to Ramesh. "Ramesh told me something very strange," Maya 7 added. "Almost every Sunday, he carries 2 lunches to Mr. Nath's room, and the same man is with him each time." And something strange thing, Ramesh told him, that almost every Sunday, one person visit to Mr. Nath, and every Sunday the same man come, and that person is tall, fair and stout, and even that person wears spectacles, right? And Ramesh said that person talks a lot, and Mr. Nath hardly speaks. And every Sunday Ramesh carries 2 lunches, one for Mr. Nath and one for visitor. "Well done, Nishad," I told him. "Now that we have made some progress with our inquiries, we will have to sort out all the facts like expert detectives, so that we can trap the crook." And what Maya said to Nishad, "Well done, and now we had made some progress in our inquiries, and we will sort out all the facts like expert detectives, and then we will trap the crook." Crook means criminal. How you do go on Maya 7 side? How can you possibly imagine he is a crook? He looks so ordinary. So 7 said that, "How can you imagine him like a crook?" Right? He looks so ordinary. Criminals can look quite ordinary, smarty. Criminals can look quite ordinary, smarty. I retorted. Did you see the picture of Hyderabadi housebreaker in the papers yesterday?" So Maya argued with Nishad that criminals always look ordinary. And what she said, have you seen in yesterday's paper about Hyderabadi housebreaker? He looked like any man on the street, and that person was looking ordinary, right? Nishad looked doubtful, and Nishad was doubtful. The monsoons broke the next day. Dark clouds accompanied by blinding flashes of lightning and roaring rolls of thunder burst with all their fury, flooding the streets with heavy downpour. School was have to be reopened after the summer holidays, but no traffic could move through the flooded roads, and there was an unexpected holiday. And next day, what happened? Monsoon was started, and dark clouds were there, right? Even the lightning was there, and all the roads, streets were flooded. And as their school was going to reopen after the summer holidays, but no break, and after the summer vacation there was school was supposed to reopen, but because of the heavy rain, roads were flooded, so the school they got unexpected holiday. So students, up to here only. We will come.
आभार।